Hi guys, welcome to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Kyra, and here on this channel, we are all about the makeup. In an effort to continue ranking all the categories of my collection this year in 2021, I decided to split up the eyeshadow portion a little bit. I have no desire at this point in time to rank all 85 of my eyeshadow palettes, but I do want to give you some suggestions or some thoughts on these palettes that I'm ranking. So today we're going to rank the colorful palettes, and next week we'll be ranking my top 10 favorite neutral palettes. So with all that said, let's get into it. Alright, so coming in at number 10, this is still a wonderful palette. These are my top 10 colorful palettes, so I like them all. So just because this one's falling at number 10 doesn't mean I don't like it. It just means that's where it fell. So I'm talking about the Earth and Ocean palette from e.l.f. I love these, what are they, 18 pen palettes from e.l.f. I also have the new classics, but I just love this color story. If you've been around my channel for a while, you might know how much I enjoy blue and green eyeshadow. I am wearing green eyeshadow today from the Jackie Aina palette, and this one is no exception. I just love this, and I feel like there are a lot of unique tones of these greens and yellows and blues in this palette. They're not your standard primary or emerald greens or anything like that. There are definitely some beautiful tones in here. You've got some great duochrome shadows in here. One of my favorites right here is kind of a, I don't know, it's hard to say yellow and gold duochrome because they're both essentially yellow, right? But this one has, it really is like a gold shadow with a light yellow or pastel yellow flip to it, and that is this one right here. You've got a couple of neutrals in here to sort of balance everything out if you're more of a pop on the lid or pop on the inner corner type of person. But for me, I just love this palette, and it is, you know, coming in at number 10. I'm very eloquent today, can you tell? For number 9, some might question where this falls in the lineup, and I'll tell you why immediately. Number 9 is my Pat McGrath Mothership Mega Celestial Divinity palette. This is from Holiday 2020, and it is a beautiful palette, but I don't love all of the formulas in this palette, which is why it falls where it does. It's beautiful, it's unique, you get a lot of variety in here. However, I do wish there were a few more mattes, and even just one neutral matte would be wonderful. You have only 3 mattes in here, and it's this light pink, this mid to deep pink, and then this warm burgundy down here. So for me, this is more of a companion palette. But otherwise, I do just love the variety in here. There's definitely a few really unique shades in here that I love. So here are a few of those unique shades. You've got a couple of duochromes. Love this sort of metallic electric orchid shade. This one down here is a really unique duochrome, and I hope that it will show up on camera here. So this is a beautiful, colorful palette. A few hits and misses in here, but overall just a lovely, lovely palette. Coming up at number 8 is the ColourPop and Raw Beauty Kristy At Forest Sight palette. This is a beautiful jewel toned palette, and I will at some point probably depot this from its palette and put it in with my singles, because that's what I do with my discontinued ColourPop palettes. But I love this packaging so much. It's just absolutely my jam. I love mushrooms. I love this whole aesthetic. And there's not a dead shade in here. Even this deep purpley black with the purple glitter in it applies beautifully to the eyes. So Kristy really curated some beautiful shadows here with beautiful, consistent formulas, no pressed glitters, all that jazz. And I really love this one. This next one it was really hard to rank, and I think it's possible by the end of November that I will feel differently. But for now, number 7 is the ABH and Jackie Aina palette. By now, you know that this is my 1 month, 1 palette for November. I am wearing it on my eyes today. I have the shade Sponsored on the lid with Trust Issues padded over top. Already I've discovered I really did not like this shade when I first tested out and played with this palette, but over this like brown green duochrome, it is stunning. Credit has definitely got to be one of my favorite deep browns in my collection. It really leans quite plummy, so there's just that touch of a red purple in there with that brown. We've already talked about Sponsored as a beautiful duochrome. Zam is a beautiful glitter shade. So I really cannot complain about this palette at all. I love it. It's colorful, but it's just enough neutral to keep me happy. And I'm really looking forward to using this all month long because today, which was day 1, huge success. Number 6 is the BH Cosmetics Blueberry Muffin palette from their brunch collection, I believe, and this is gorgeous. Now, if you're scared of blue, don't leave just yet. There are some blue shades in here, but there's also a lot else that this has to offer. There are blues in here, but there are some really stunning lid shades that have nothing to do with blue. They're just gorgeous, like liquid metal, absolutely stunning. You've got a like duochrome shade going on here. This is actually a deep dark purple up here, which is stunning. But then you have this rich, warm, milk chocolatey brown, which really sets off some of the cool tones in here. The mattes are just as gorgeous as the shimmers. I mean, that is full pigment right there, baby. So this is a great palette, especially if you like blue or you want to wear more blue, but you just kind of want to dip your toe in and not really commit to a full blue palette. Next, a palette I've been working on panning on and off all year is my C Color Savannah palette. This is an extremely affordable brand, and I'll link all of these palettes that are still available down below. This is still currently available, and it is meant to be a dupe for the Natasha Denona Safari palette. I have so far hit 1 pan right here, but I'm getting very close on this green and this yellow. And here's the thing, I swatched this entire palette out on my arm last night as I was getting ready to start my 1 month, 1 palette. And I always think to myself, I would still really love to have that Natasha Denona Safari palette. And part of that is just because I love Natasha Denona's formula, especially her matte formula. And I'd love to have all the shades of my dream in her formula. However, this is an amazing palette. There's not a lack of pigment. There is not a lack of wear time. Like, this functions beautifully. And I love these tones. Just look at these right here. Beautifully pigmented, blendable. Are these as pigmented as the Natasha Denona shades probably are? Probably not, but it's still a fantastic palette. I never have any complaints when I use it, and I enjoy using it, whether by itself or paired with any other palette. This is like my kind of a colorful rainbow palette. Next, number 4, again, we go back to my love of green eyeshadow, and that is the ColourPop and Star Wars Mandalorian The Child palette. Longest name ever for such a tiny creature, but my son purchased this for me last year for Christmas, and this palette is perfect for me. There's not a single thing I would change about this palette. You have a beautiful row of neutrals. I also really love the tones of green in here. These 3 matte shades, look at these. These are beautiful and very wearable tones of green. So again, if you love green or you want to dip your toe into some green, this would be a great palette for that. I have no idea at this point if it's still available or not. Last I checked, it was. Here are those shimmers right here. I mean, holy moly. They're gorgeous. Gorgeous. I love the shimmers in here, but I also love the mattes. I can totally go with a matte look with this palette and be totally excited and totally say totally too many times. Okay, here we are in the top 3. If you have any guesses, leave them below. I'll wait. And coming in at number 3 is my other BH Cosmetics palette from the brunch collection. This is the Avocado Toast. If you missed it, I did a 1 month 1 palette with this in September. I love this. Like, I love this even more than I thought I did or would when I started this project. And then once I was done with a ton of different looks with this palette, I just loved it even more. I was not even remotely sick of using this palette after having used it every single day for a month. Not every single day I did my makeup. I love what this palette has to offer. It has shimmers in green, but it also has mattes in green, but it also has both matte in green. You've got a nice little neutral section up here. You've got some neutrals in this corner here, and I could not be happier with this palette. If you ever see a BH Cosmetics palette with these square pans that you're interested in, I highly recommend, because all 4 of the ones that I have are beautiful. Fantastic formula, amazing color stories. All right, coming in at number 2 is one of the only pastel leaning palettes in my collection, and that is the Huda Beauty Mercury Retrograde. This was also, I believe, in my prettiest packaging I own video, and I can link that as well. But this packaging is stunning, but of course we are here to talk about the eyeshadows inside, and this is just gorgeous. I saw that she's coming out with a new one. I think it's called Rose Quartz, and I'm so here for it. I really want that one. This shade right here, which is called Mercury, like, holy smokes, can you even? I just find this to be such a beautiful palette. I feel like it has a lot more versatility than a lot of people suspect or expect that it will, because the packaging is so purple, but really if you could take away the packaging, this has a beautiful variety of shades and depths and tones, and I just love it. Now, be truthful, how many of you guessed that my number 1 colorful palette would be the Natasha Denona Trio Chrome? You knew Natasha had to be in here somewhere, and this is definitely the epitome of a colorful palette. The formula is absolutely beautiful, like I said before, and these trio chromes are just bananas. Like, I don't even know. However, unlike some palettes, the mattes are just as beautiful and colorful in this palette as the shimmers are, which is why I love this regardless of it only having 3 shimmers. Ta-da! Look at those! They're so pretty. This would make a gorgeous look, I feel like. I mean, you can see there, all of those colors are present, and that does not go away when you blend these out. I feel like they're really beautifully saturated, whether they're the light shades or the deeper shades. And this one is just tippity-toppity for me. I love her so much. So that is what I have for you today. I hope you enjoyed seeing my top 10 colorful palettes. Stay tuned for next week when I will share with you my top 10 neutral palettes. Some will be more neutral than others, but in my eyes, they are all neutral palettes. Like, these are all colorful palettes. So thank you so much for hanging out with me today. If you did enjoy today's video, I would appreciate a thumbs up and maybe consider subscribing before you leave so we can see each other in that next top 10 neutral palette video. And I hope all of your makeup days are absolutely beautiful makeup days.